Movie reviews with Popcorn Movies.
So, welcome again to our second episode. As we promised you in our last episode, we're gonna talk about the Joker. Okay, thanks everybody to our 6 followers. Thank you so much that you were requesting this so much for you. And first of all, you're gonna say who is that guy that is. I don't know where you are, man, but at least here you are down. Okay, perfect. So this guy over here, we launched a call for people to join us to discuss about the Joker. We receive approximately 500 requests, and we choose the best one of those 500 requests that wanted to join us, and that is Dylan. So, Dylan, present yourself to the public.
Hello, everyone. I'm a classmate of the guys here. Said I'd join on. My love of comic books, my love of films. Absolutely love DC, so I thought I could contribute quite well. So,
Yeah, that's why we choose Dylan, because he has a PhD actually on DC Dylan. So he's
That's
gonna
true.
help us a lot. He's the Dr. Dylan, so please refer him as Dr. Dylan. Okay, excellent. So, hello guys again. Hello, my friends, Sean, Daniel. How are you? How's quarantine?
Great, man. Great. Love isolation.
Living, staying
Excellent.
alive.
Good. That's good to see you safe and isolated. So, as we start with the other video, we start with the first show of Batman. You remember 1960s, we'll talk about Adam West. So now that we're gonna be talking about the Joker, I think it will be something respectful to start with Cesar Romero, okay? You remember Cesar Romero, the Joker of the Batman of the shows on 1960s? What can you tell us about the Joker? Let's start with Sean.
With that Joker, I can't remember too much. I think he was like as comical as the Batman, so he kind of slotted right into the role. Now I don't know too much about the TV show in terms of Joker, but I know he did slot right into the kind of comical scenario of the TV show Batman. But I don't know too much about the Joker himself.
He's like something that Daniel mentioned the other show, that he was like kind of goofy. Is that the word you use, Daniel?
Yeah, I think that entire Batman TV show was very goofy. Whether you look at Batman, whether you look at Robin, just the girls, the interaction, all of them just seemed to be very goofy. It was a very goofy show, and I think that's what makes it very appealing to the public.
Yeah, the
we
girls
still don't have
dancing.
those. We don't have the girls for you this episode. Sorry, Moises.
I will have to wait for the next episode then.
Mhm.
Have you watched that show, Dylan?
Yeah, I remember it. Fuck me.
No cursive.
He's scared. He's scared the living bejesus out of me. Like, I think he looked the most like a clown. Like, you know, I mean, you look at him and you're like, holy moly! It's his eyes. I think it was his facial expressions. Remember the big eyes. He scared me. Yeah, he was more kind of like spooky clown like.
Yeah, totally agree. And actually, his laugh of the Joker was one of the most. It's one of the most reminded laughs of the Joker, because it was really, really famous, that laugh of the Joker.
Oh, how delicious it is!
So yeah, I will consider that we have to go through Cesar Romero, of course, if we want to talk about the Joker. But the one that take it to more, how can we say it, more popular, the character of Joker was Jack Nicholson. Do you have something to tell us about Jack Nicholson, Daniel?
Yeah, Jack Nicholson, he was phenomenal in it. I just recently watched it. I mentioned that last episode. And it was just brilliant. Jack Nicholson really brought kind of like a little bit of a messed up view of Joker, but not too messed up. He still was very goofy. And it kind of paid homage to the original TV show. And there's just so many different scenes in the movie where I was just bursting out laughing. I just think about like whenever he's coming into the museum and his crew is there, and the one has like the boombox, and they're just kind of like, yeah, and they're destroying the different things in the museum, like throwing paint and splattering paint over all the different paintings, and I was just laughing my head off because it's just the funniest like gangster mob that you'd ever see. It was just too funny, and I like it because he was kind of like this like all over the place Joker, but in it somehow it really worked well. I really liked Jack Nicholson as Joker.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's
Jack
funny.
Nicholson
It's a
kinda-
word that we would like to have for a villain. Funny.
Yeah, he kind of
He was
fitted into the role because, like, about I think it was 9 years before that he did The Shining, so he was kind of known as a kind of creepy character anyway. So he kind of people expected it out of him, and he didn't let people down in his role either. But he was just kind of creepy villain type character already.
Dylan, you wanna say you were gonna say something?
Yeah, no, he was, in my opinion, one of the funnier ones. You know, he was a real trickster. You know, real semblance of the actual being a Joker. Like he embodied that kind of, other than the gamer editions of the Batman or the Joker in the Batman games. But he was very funny. Like,
Do you consider that it was like a dark character as the Batman that we were talking about, the Michael Keaton Batman that was like really dark? Do you consider that this Joker was dark?
well, it was a nice juxtaposition, you know, because he wasn't as dark. Like looking at the more contemporary Jokers, he certainly wasn't that dark, especially with how he dressed and whatnot. You know, I think he kind of brought, as I said, a Joker kind of vibe to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I really like that the juxtaposition between dark and comedy was really well perfected with Jack Nicholson. I think, yeah.
What do you think about this change in the plot that was made in this movie? You know, because for a long, a lot of people after watching that movie thought that the Joker was the one that killed the parents of Bruce Wayne, but in reality that didn't happen. That was a change that was made by the plot, and actually a lot of people now think that the Joker killed the parents of Bruce Wayne, but of course not. Or I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I think like looking at that.
I felt like the teacher of one of my masters, man. That's like he has a question and nobody pays attention to him.
Yeah, no, I think we're all waiting for like who's going to respond first. Yeah. Saying that, Moises, I think that was okay. It actually, as much as like it's maybe not following the comic books to a T, I think what was happening with Tim Burton's decision to do that, I think it added a new dynamic to the movie that was quite unique and was quite accepted by the community as a whole. And I think that was quite all right to do for Tim Burton in that decision. All right, maybe we should segue to our next Joker. So, I think we all know what's coming. Heath Ledger.
Who's coming?
Yeah.
Heath Ledger is the next Joker.
Okay.
Goodness gracious. Dylan, you seem pumped. Why don't you start us off on him?
Oh, what can I say about him? Like, I mean, everyone knows it was a masterpiece. I mean, I think the whole anarchist type of Joker, like that's always, even in the comic books, that's kind of why what drives him. It's that like he's a sower of chaos. Like he doesn't have any real reason. He just does things because he is a harbinger of chaos. And I thought that was really something that Heath Ledger brought to the table with that, you know.
Really twisted, a really twisted Joker. I mean, something really different that we saw from Jack Nicholson. This guy was really twisted.
Mm. There's no reason or rhyme to what he does. Like it's pure anarchy. Like, and I love that.
Yeah, there was no way for any of the authorities in Gotham to sort out the situation, like because he just had he had no motive behind him. He just did it for the crack.
Yeah.
And actually,
Yeah.
that's what people said about that. He actually died of overdose because he couldn't go out of the character that he was playing. He got involved too much in the Joker that he couldn't even separate what was reality of that character. So that's what people think that he died from an overdose.
It's sad,
Yeah.
right? For sure. Like you see with all method kind of actors, it does play. It does take its toll. Like
Especially, like he was kind of crazy in the movie. So imagine getting to that mind frame, like kind of 24/7 for how
oh
many,
yeah, of
God, a year or two of production.
like
It would just drive you insane. Like,
course.
yeah, you really like see that he got into the role so much because he delivered such um a performance that made you believe that he was actually insane. But the reality is he became insane through the process of doing that. So he really wasn't acting so much at that point. He was just it just became a part of him, and I think that's what drove him mad, and he lost his life over it. And I think that's just we shared last video. It's just a really sad reality, but that just goes to show you the level and the quality of performance that he just had.
Well, he was nominated for Oscar for supporting actor. I think that talks about all the effort and all what he involved in the character to getting to that point.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but what I remember is that he based the character on the comics he read. I don't know if you have the opportunity to read like one of the comics focused on the Joker, for example, The Killing Joke. Actually, there is a
Killing
movie
Joke,
about
yeah.
The Killing Joke. But the comic shoot is like really violent, man. It's that even though it's a comic that is not made for kids,
No.
you can see like a really twisted Joker in that comic. Actually, I have to admit, one of my favorite comics.
You need to buy you need to bring your ID whenever you're buying that comic at the shops.
Yeah, because you can actually see like Joker doing sexual harassment. There is actually a specific scene that actually a rape is suggested that happened, that the Joker raped a girl. So it's really twisted, and those are the characters and those were the comics that Heath Ledger based his character. So
Wasn't that, not to jump ahead or anything, but just the point, wasn't Leto's character or Joker based off the Killing Jokes version? He gets his teeth knocked in, doesn't he?
I thought
Batman.
that I thought that it was more like Heath Ledger. I remember, but maybe because it's one of the most classical comics of the Joker.
He kills Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He kills Robin. That it's not Dick Grayson. Remember we said that it was
it's not Dick Grayson.
It's not
It's not
Dick
Dick
Grayson.
Grayson.
No,
I thought.
it's Jason.
go back to our previous episode to learn this.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the other guy. The other.
We get to pick on Moises forever for making that.
So now that you're talking about Jared Leto, I don't know. I have some opinions about Jared Leto.
We all have opinions on that one.
Oh,
Feel bad for him because he's not a bad actor either. Like,
Yeah.
he is now.
yeah, after that he is. I don't know.
Oh, gosh, what the heck was
Oh, his role-
Really?
poor-
Like, that's what we were given for Joker after like such good performances. Joker, we just get this like stupid laugh with a tattoo on his hand. Like, my goodness, shoot me! Like he's done his job as Joker. He makes people want to kill themselves.
They tried to put the character into like a tertiary role inside the movie. You can't have Joker in like a background role. He has to be a prominent character, especially after
100%.
Ledger's role.
Actually, he tried to do this. He tried to also be like a method actor. There are some stories about that he was sending some jokes to his starring friends. He was sending dead mouses and dead rats to
Yeah, I
Will
heard that
Smith.
too.
He was sending like a lot of those things, like a pig heart, something like that. He was sending to Margot Robbie, something like that. I remember, he tried to be like this also method actor, but I think he failed.
Yeah,
Just creeped
unfortunately.
everyone out.
It's just a weirdo.
Yeah, he was trying to follow in the footsteps of Heath Ledger and like trying to get in that mental space, which I don't know why you want to really do that, but just was a complete failure. And goodness gracious, and the worst part is that he still thinks he did a good performance and he still wishes he had another shot at doing the role. Like even Clooney says, I'm never going to do this role as Batman again because I know how much of a train wreck it was, and I apologize for that. So like, goodness gracious, like he needs to wake up someday and realize that his performance wasn't that great.
He tried actually to spoil the performance of the next Joker that we're going to
Heard
talk
that,
about,
yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. He tried to spoil that actually, right?
No way.
That's petty now. Like that's real petty. Well, he showed
You're a
him.
bad loser.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix showed him. Showed him good.
Goodness gracious, yeah. Let's talk about Joaquin Phoenix.
Mm.
John, you just watched the movie.
Yeah, I just watched it last night. It was great. It was really
nice.
good. Like, as in, like, I kind of tuning in and out of it a bit for the first maybe half hour, an hour, but then there was one scene. I don't want to wreck anything, but there was one scene that absolutely it caught my eye, and it was like, oh my god, that's amazing. It was such a good climax. Like, it was amazing.
Did you watch it legally?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I rented it.
Oh, come on. Nobody from the FBI is watching us right now, Sean. You can be open.
No, I did. I genuinely rented it.
I think one of the things that was we need to note is that Joaquin Phoenix did win Best Actor for this movie and in the Oscars, and I think that is just phenomenal, and that really just goes and says like this is the level of quality of a performance that he brought.
Yeah,
Jared Leto won an Oscar this year, didn't he? Last year?
for which
This year?
one?
For Dallas Buyers Club, I think, wasn't it? Not this year. Sorry, fuck.
That's been a few
That was years
years
ago. Yeah, sorry, it was years ago. Yeah.
It's not to say that like he's a bad actor, but he was just a bad actor in that role.
Maybe kind of like blame lies with the producers and directors. You know, I think an awful lot of people are quick to be like, "Oh, he's a bad actor," but
bad place, bad time. Like, really.
Yeah, I think it was just
The Dr. Dylan is right. He won an Oscar.
Yeah,
2014.
2014. Yeah.
Oh, I'm only 6 years off. Close enough.
Why does he look like Jesus Christ? I mean, why he has to have this look of Jesus Christ, man? He's like, you know, man. You can give that to your grandma, and she's gonna be like putting a candle in that picture or something like that.
Throwing some water onto your phone.
Overscreen.
All right. Yeah, maybe we should get back to talking about Joaquin Phoenix. Moises, what did
Sorry for my jokes, man.
No, you're good.
No jokes allowed.
No jokes allowed. We're talking about the Joker, all right? What were your thoughts, Moises, on his performance? What do you think made that performance special and stand out amongst the rest?
Also, man, he's a method actor. You know, he analyzed the personality of one of the most influential serial killers. He didn't want to say which serial killer was where he focused his character because he didn't want to give promotion to this serial killer. But he focused on a character of a serial killer, and he was like analyzing how people laugh that has this condition of suddenly they start to laugh from nothing. So he was actually watching videos. He was like trying to imitate them. So I think that commitment with the character of the Joker was what made him good, like a great role in that part. I don't know if you agree with me.
Yeah, I think just that, even that storyline, like just his laugh itself was just was comical, but was also really messed up, like really, really messed up. And you just see like, just watching the entire movie, you're just like, okay, this is he's really mentally disturbed here. And you see that, and it took the whole thing of like, having mental illness to a different level altogether that just went from mental illness to like psychopath, and there's a difference between the two, I believe. And I think that you kind of see how the relevance in today's society with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, but he still kept true to what Joker truly is, and that is a psychopath.
Totally agree. So, well, I hear it's time to vote. Who do you think is the best Joker? So I have in my left hand, that's Sean.
No,
I hope so.
No.
Okay, let's go with Sean. Sean, who is your best Joker?
Oh, I'm between Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger. I'm going to say Joaquin Phoenix.
Why?
Because he just gave I love the movie because it brought out the storyline, as in, like, you got his whole background. Maybe it wasn't due to the actor, but it was just you get the whole storyline, you get the background, you get to see why the Joker is the way he is, and you just kind of see his snapping point, and you kind of understand him in a way. But I think he played a phenomenal role, but I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. So I'm going to say Joaquin Phoenix.
Daniel.
Yeah, I don't want to just copy Sean, but Joaquin Phoenix, I think part of what made his role just so good was that you could almost relate and sympathize with Joker, which is not something you had so much with Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was legendary, but I think Joaquin Phoenix just did something and connected the audience to Joker in a way that hadn't been done before. And you sympathize with him, but you also understand why he's so messed up.
Dylan, what do you think?
I go for Heath Ledger, to be honest. Well, I'm not downplaying Joaquin Phoenix's performance. It was absolutely incredible, but it played to different, obviously, character. The characters are very different, but I just think Heath Ledger was the writing involved with him. Like, I mean, even when we were first introduced to him, like, it's just how this one man can kind of like dictate such fear, even though he's not even like that scary, but he just has a plan, but he has no plan. And I love that part of the film. Everything kind of seemed to revolve around the plan that didn't really revolve around anything, just chaos. I love that.
I have to go with Dylan. For me, also, I had to admit that I prefer the Joker of Heath Ledger. Of course, I love Joaquin Phoenix, but man, Heath Ledger is already a twisted Joker. Yeah, in Joaquin Phoenix, we can see like how this crazy Joker is being developed, but in Heath Ledger, we have already seen like a whole 100% twisted Joker, and I love that. This kind of the chaos and this part of and the quotes. I mean, the quotes that has as a Joker are quotes that I think that are really awesome. Like I love this one. Like I'm a dog chasing a car. When I get to the car, I know what I'm gonna do with the car. That kind of quotes are really awesome and are really, really interesting. That have a lot. There are a lot of memes about that. So I love the performance of Joaquin Phoenix, but I will stay with the Joker of Heath Ledger because he's more twisted, really more twisted, and the makeup. I love the makeup.
The makeup.
The makeup, it's awesome in Heath Ledger. So we are 2 versus 2. Yeah.
Sorry. We have to mention, we're talking about Jokers. For me, Mark Hamill, fantastic voice actor. Voice actor.
Yeah,
he's the voice of the Joker, like.
Yeah,
It's an honorary mention.
It's iconic, and you have to. I think what we're looking is on-screen actual acting Jokers, but we cannot lose that Mark Hamill really is a great voice to the Joker, and so one thing before we end this podcast, why don't we just say who is the worst Joker?
Really? Do we have to vote about that, man?
I don't think we have to vote. that Jared Leto is by far the worst Joker to have
Yeah.
ever come on screen.
Man, even
Ah!
the Joker of the Lego movie was better than Jared Leto.
He
Man. Come on.
was. He actually was.
Yeah, actually, the Joker of the Lego is better, man. So, yeah. So
What
for
is it,
this
17
time, because
colors we have?
our guest is Dylan, we have to give them 1 extra point. So it's gonna be 3 Heath Ledger versus 2
yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
Oh, come on. Come on.
So thank you so much for the people that watch us. We have right now 7 followers, guys. 7 followers. We did it. 7 followers.
7?
Awesome. 7 followers. And we want to appreciate the support and our guest, podcaster, Dylan. Where can people find you, Dylan? You have a lot of also channels. Where can they find you? Because our 7, actually, you are breaking a lot of cards, man. 5 girls of our followers say that if you're single, I have already told them that, no, sorry, you're not single. But where can they find them, man?
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. I actually started a Twitter account recently. It's, dare I say, hilarious. But follow me on Twitter at Dylan Hennessy 9.
What about your channels? Do you have something about State of Mind?
Oh, of course. Follow us on State of Mind as well. We're doing a podcast for mental health at the moment, myself and 3 other friends. So that's
Excellent.
State of Mind. You can find us on Instagram and on YouTube.
Perfect. So we're going to be sharing the information here about Dylan Podcast, so you can also follow him. And please give us your opinion. Did you agree with us? Do you agree with what we have already discussed here? Just add your comments and stay tuned, because we're going to have another podcast, because we need an A1 in our assignment. So please give us a lot of thumbs up, because we need an A1.
Remember to share.
See ya, guys. Thank you. Music.
Peace.